7 U.S. presidents who served during World War II. 1. John F. Kennedy. Before the war, he planned to attend Yale Law School. He changed his plans because the war seemed imminent. He tried to enter the Army's officer candidate school in 1940. Chronic lower back problems made it almost impossible. He trained for months but was medically disqualified. Then Kennedy's influential father intervened. His friend, Alan Kirk, helped Kennedy join the military. In 1941, JFK joined the U.S. Naval Reserve. He was hoping to command a patrol torpedo boat. Kennedy Sr. intervened again. He provided misleading medical records. In 1943, JFK took command of PD-109. It's an 80-foot torpedo boat. It was later rammed by a Japanese tanker. Kennedy managed to save almost all his crew. 2. Gerald Ford. Ford enlisted in the U.S. Navy after the attack on Pearl Harbor. He started his service in the V-5 Instructor School in Maryland. His training took only 1 month. Then he became an instructor himself. He taught navigation skills, ordnance, gunnery, and first aid. Later he served on the aircraft carrier USS Monterey. The carrier participated in many actions in the Pacific. Ford served as the assistant navigator, athletic officer, and anti-aircraft battery officer. 3. Lyndon B. Johnson. LBJ was already a congressman when the U.S. joined the war. He was called into service 3 days after Pearl Harbor. Johnson was President Roosevelt's trusted political ally. Roosevelt assigned Johnson to survey the Southwest Pacific. He needed better information on the region. Johnson served under General Douglas MacArthur. He observed American airstrikes in New Guinea. 4. Ronald Reagan. In 1937, Reagan enlisted in the U.S. Army Reserve. He was ordered for active duty in 1942. By that time, he was already a famous actor. He was in the middle of filming King's Row. Severe nearsightedness didn't allow him to fight. Yet he didn't want to become a draft dodger. He became a public relation officer. During his service, Reagan produced over 400 training films. He also starred in several of them. 5. Dwight D. Eisenhower. Ike is the only U.S. president who served in both world wars. He was assigned to the General Staff in Washington. He oversaw military operations in Africa and Sicily. In 1943, President Roosevelt made him Supreme Allied Commander. Eisenhower planned and carried out the D-Day landings at Normandy. 6. George H.W. Bush. Bush enlisted in the U.S. Navy. On his 18th birthday, he became a naval aviator. In less than a year, he was one of the youngest pilots in the Navy. He flew a Grumman TBF Avenger. It's a torpedo bomber capable of taking off from aircraft carriers. Bush flew his first combat mission in May 1944. In total, he flew 58 missions. He was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross. 7. Richard Nixon. Nixon already worked for the government when the war started. He could have claimed an exemption from the draft as a Quaker, yet Nixon decided to join the Navy. At first, he served in the Naval Air Station Ottumwa. Later, he requested sea duty. He supervised military logistics in the South Pacific.